Here we are at the exquisite Red Rocks Amphitheater in Morrison, Colorado, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to be a good cable page. So if you are running show call and you get assigned to be a cable page, essentially what you're doing is you are managing the cable for the video guy, which sounds pretty cool, but there's a couple of things that you can do to make that move a little bit more smoothly for you and that person. Now you could end up anywhere. You could be on the downstage edge in between the stage and the crowd. You could be at front of house. You could be somewhere else in the arena. You might even be on stage. Like for Def Leppard and Motley Crue last year, I was on stage literally where the band members were going in and out, and I was making sure that they didn't trip. That's one of your jobs as a cable page, is to make sure that nobody trips over that cable. And then like managing the slack, making sure he has enough slack to where he's gonna go. Last week I was doing Thomas Rhett and he had a thrust that came off. So sometimes my video guy would take off down that thrust and I needed to make sure he had enough slack. There were times where I was kind of throwing the cable because he was moving so fast. Then you also want to make sure of pinch points. There was a corner of barricades to where it was trying to get caught on that, and so you want to make sure the cable's not getting caught on anything. That's a big part of your job. And then there's other times where you don't have enough time to over-under. You have to be good at your over-under skills. Sometimes you're doing speed over and under, but then there's also times where the video cable is not very cooperative, so to speak, and sometimes you just got to get it out of the way, and once your guy stops moving, then you can do your nice over and under. And I like to hold my coils in my left hand and then use my right hand, which is my dominant hand, to feed the slack because it's easier for me. And so what I will typically do is give my guy like 2 or 3 wraps of slack. They're used to having cable at their feet, and so having a little bit of slack actually gives them that leeway. If he needs to start moving really quick to go get that super sweet guitar solo over on the other side of the stage, you're already a step ahead of him to feed him that slack. And so the next thing is you want to make sure to avoid distractions. It's very easy to get caught up in the energy and the people and watching the crowd, looking at the video and the lights, and sometimes you're within feet of the celebrities. And there's a lot to get distracted from, but you need to be able to feed that cable as soon as your guy moves. So typically what I'll do is I will look at the guy's feet, and as soon as he starts moving his feet, that's when I'm ready to go and start feeding him. And the last little bit of advice that I would give you is have fun. This is fun. This is why we do what we do. So it shouldn't be stressful. And if you implement these couple of little tips, you can not only do a really good job, but you can have an amazing time. And one other thing I thought of is you're gonna have a meeting with this guy before the show. So he'll tell you, here's what's gonna happen, here's where I'm gonna go, maybe special moments during the show, like I'm gonna run up on stage and I'm gonna go over there, and so just feed me slack. That's your time to ask questions. Make sure you are very clear of what needs to be done, because once the show starts, it's gonna be so loud that you won't be able to verbally communicate. You'll be able to have some nonverbal cues where sometimes he'll give you a thumbs up of I'm good, like I have enough slack, but before is when you have your time to ask questions. So get out there, you guys, have fun and enjoy it, and you guys are gonna do great.